All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start the power hour a little bit early, just so the live stream crowd can jump in, and then we'll kind of start the general power hour right on time in a few minutes here. Morning, Mike. B Dubs, J Penfold. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on where you are. Yeah, Big Eyes is right. The crypto newbie. Are you still a crypto newbie? Or have you been a crypto newbie for a very long period of time? Bears Unite. Oh, it's Bears in here now. I don't know. We'll have to see. Yogesh, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Yeah, everything's getting a second jab right now. So, this is a power hour. I do the power hour every day, starting in about 1 minute. And I figured I'd do public since it's essentially should be Extreme Stream Edition and Power Hour. So I'm just combining them into one because I like efficiency. Next support 30K. I actually had a couple of lines in my chart. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we get into BTC. Just letting people roll in here, and then the normal Power Hour members, making sure that they can get in here too. Before I start, looks like we are dropping a little bit more volume aggregation tool on the 15-minute, not looking super bullish. Where's my pen? Hold on a minute, guys. I don't have my pen. I'll be right back, and then we'll get started. Hey, what's up, Don? All right, good morning, everybody. All right, so let's start the power hour, guys. Thank you for joining me. We are doing a live power hour today as the market is basically in extreme stream mode. So therefore, I felt it was wise to kind of combine both and expose everyone to the power hour as well. But right now, we're just trying to make heads and tails of this. Thought we were a bull market. Don't get caught up in labels, Don. Okay, labels are not your thing. All right, it's fluid. All right, Bitcoin is non-binary. Okay, you can't pin Bitcoin down like that, Don. So we started off yesterday. Let's go back to the 2-hour time frame, even as we're dropping here. We started off yesterday kind of up here, playing with the trend line, which actually, yeah, it was drawn like that. I thought I redrew that this morning. It seems odd. Morning, Joe. So yeah, we were here yesterday. We popped up from this little flag. We moved up a little bit. Very low volume in the consolidation, which I was okay with that. We started playing with this bull flag situation. And then unfortunately, an egregious amount of sell pressure came in. If you guys remember yesterday, we were discussing about the market is kind of garbage right now until, yeah, smash the like button. Very good. Thank you, Yogesh. I appreciate that. The market right now is in BTC only mode. What that means, at least for me, is that ever since capitulation the other day, the market right now is really predicated on what Bitcoin is going to do. So we have no idea if Bitcoin's going to stop down here. We have no idea if Bitcoin's going to follow through. If Bitcoin follows through, you can basically call the bull market dead. If it's not going to follow through, then we're looking for some type of bottoming action. I had these lines up here yesterday, and I think we drew these off for the 15-minute time frame, but the volume that just came in is pretty aggressive. It's actually a lot more aggressive than I would prefer to see. We're still lower than the capitulation volume. You can firmly see on my volume aggregation tool here, it's pretty low actually. So I'm hoping we'll come back down and form some type of a higher low, and then we can get on with some better action. But right now we're literally in wait and see mode. Everything's dropping right now. The whole market's red. It would feel a little bit better if we were green today, if we were hold up green for a couple of days, but the market's going to do what it's going to do. Could turn around at any time, but right now we're definitely heading into these recent lows, and that is not looking super hot right now. We're pretty much just stuck at the lows right there. Not very good. So we'll talk about altcoins. The general power hour schedule is we talk about Bitcoin, then we walk through the top 20 coins, which we'll do that, and then we go through I've already gone through the Binance US coins, and then we have a spreadsheet which is a lot of Binance tokens versus BTC, and we'll do that a little bit later too. Not too many today, obviously, is the market. Hey, what's up, Farhan? Hey, Dreamcar, how you doing? And yeah, obviously, as the market is kind of falling apart right now, it's hard to get a lot of good charts. We had a few charts yesterday. Most of them got negated with further analysis during the live power hour. And then, so now we're getting some green, starting to get some chop down here, which is good. If we roll over on some lower volume, I'm actually looking to add down here. I think I'm going to add some down here, to be quite honest with you, just a little bit. I'm just nitpicking at this thing right now. And that's essentially what I'm doing now. Is I'm looking. My personal bias right now. Is that we do bounce up. So I'm looking to take advantage of dips in the market if I can. You know, whenever we look a little bearish and then start to pop a little bit, I'll take a little bit. I'm not doing a third of a position. I'm basically doing like a tenth of positions, because I'm not quite sure how this is going to go in terms of, you know, how many days this takes down here. This could be the end of the day today. We sometimes find bottoms in power hours. It's been a while since that was true, but you know, it happens. And you know, we could find a bottom in here, something, and then we'll move up and chop around the rest of the day. And while this was very scary, maybe this is all the low that we get. You never know. So I'm taking the opportunity to just kind of nibble on the way down here. Yeah, no problem, PJ. And thanks, Andre and Rosie. They like the power hour. I appreciate that. Yeah, I tried to do my best during the show. It's kind of like a brain dump, daily analysis. Try to give a lot of good trading advice, investing advice. Really, whatever you guys want to ask, you guys know I'm willing to answer. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying. I'm glad it's useful. Only 18 likes? What? It's only 18 likes, 60 people watching? Jeez. There's this little button down at the bottom. You need to hit that. Hit the little button. Bitcoin or YouTube will maybe send the stream out a little bit further. So, yeah, comment too. Do all that stuff. If you're bored and enjoying it, just say something in chat or whatever. Get the algo going. So anyway, Bitcoin moving lower here. We talked yesterday about these two levels being some very active support. 34.7 is the first support from just after the close or the open yesterday, depending on which way you want to call that. And then the closing low on this 15-minute, right about here, we did have a flurry of action right around there. So I think that could be some additional support. So we came down here, opened the candle, popped down, came back up, opened a new candle, and went on. So I think if we get down towards that 32 and volume is lower, I think that could be a really good buy. But anywhere in here, you never know where it's going to end up. You never know where it's going to end up. SP Mobile says, smash the like button. There you go. BWC's 34 and wants 60. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So, but no, we just had this drop down, and usually you'll get maybe some type of a measured move. You know, it was interesting. I woke up I thought overnight that we would roll over a little bit more, because this is about, what is it, 10 o'clock? So I went to bed right about here, somewhere in here. No, that's midnight. So I went to bed somewhere over here, and I'm like, oh, we're low volume. Maybe there's a trend line here, and we'll break that. I didn't do any limit orders or anything, but I'm like, okay, if I wake up in the middle of the night, what I want to do is I want to look at the chart. So I woke up at about 4 this morning, which is right about here, and I'm like, oh, we actually curled up. You know, we're getting low volume. Maybe we'll do something. So I didn't buy anything, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, you know, maybe I should buy. I'm like, nah, it hasn't broken out yet. So I'm back to bed. And then I wake up, and then we see this transpire doing my stock show. So in case you guys don't know, I have a channel called Real Stocks. Just search it on YouTube, Real-Stocks, same thing as Real-Crypto. And we basically touched that line and then just collapsed. And we kind of watched that during the Real Stock show today. which, yeah, got a little bit more elevated volume than I would like to see. I was hoping we would see maybe volume like this on the breakdown, but it's relatively high volume. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, but it doesn't matter as long as we can hold up down here above 32. And I think that's really the main test right now is 32. So we talked yesterday in the Power Hour about the maybe it was the day before, about the two conflicting situations in the market right now. Okay? The two conflicting situations. Number one is that a 52% drop in a bull market in Bitcoin has not happened before. And this was not today, it's saying 53 for some reason. Hard to get a complete accounting for percentage drops. Anyway, it's over 50%. Usually you're not going to get a drop over, or at least a lot over 40%. Apparently this is 53% down. So that is a little bit dangerous. The fact that we're 53% down, that could end the bull market. You also have a semblance of Wyckoff distribution up here. You know, we touched on that a couple days ago, or actually for a while now, ever since we were over here. We talked about Wyckoff distribution. We did roll over. Volume tremendous the other day. And with volume tremendous today, we're really looking for that to calm down. And then we're really looking for that to go sideways for a bit and then try to move back up. And we talked about that yesterday. I think we had this chart on it. This one is the Bitfinex chart. Yeah. And that is not where it's supposed to be. Bitcoin behaving like a high. Yeah, a little bit. This is not accurate. This isn't where we left it. So anyway, this move right here, this is the March capitulation. We looked at this one yesterday, and we'll do a little bit. Yeah, you know what, Mike? I wanted to look at that deeper the other day, but I actually forgot about it. Hey, what's up, Jay? Yeah, let's do that. Let's look at 2013 similarities. So we'll look at that in a little bit. As usual, guys, with the Power Hour, I do put timestamps on these after the show's done. So if you guys want to revisit and look at something, you know, feel free to revisit the video, and you'll be able to find timestamps down below. So much extreme stream. You're welcome, Ellie. That's all I got to say. You're welcome. Yeah, so we talked about this, I think it was yesterday, in terms of maybe this is our potential future here. And so far, nothing's changed from that. On the daily time frame, this is an inside day. An inside day just basically means we're stuck in the same situation. So we haven't changed yet into a bull market. I think it's going to take at least a week for us to really feel where we're at down here. But the best thing I think you can hope for right now is that this test that we're having to the downside right now gets supported at some level, and then we can start to stay in this area right here. But if you go back and we look at that 2013, the last capitulation we had, what we talked about, and let's kind of see what this looks like. That almost looks like a test day right there. We talked about the test day a couple days ago. And that right there, that almost looks like a test day. I don't think we're going to have that today, because I think the way that this bottomed, just the time wise, the time frame that this bottomed in 2013 caused this to be a larger candle. It probably, let's go look at that actually. I think we can go to the 2 hour down there. Whoops, let's not go there. Trying to get, there we go. There's our lines. And yeah, we can get it on the 2 hour time frame, so that's super good. Ellie thinks we're going to 20K. Well, I hope you're wrong, Ellie. I hope you're wrong. So, yeah, you see how this thing, yeah, see exactly what I thought. On this particular situation, you had a big drop there, a bear flag, and then another drop. And then all this volume combined happened after this drop. So the volume almost got split in half. And then, boom, you had a very, very low volume day. This would be really nice to get a super, super low volume day. That looks a lot like my test day. We talked about that the other day. A test day is a signal that I found. I don't know if I made it up or I found it online. It's really been like 10 years since I found this signal. And it's really rare. It doesn't happen often. And as a matter of fact, I did a stock survey years and years ago and only found like 4 examples of a test day. And it took me a long time. Took me a long time to do that survey, but I found a test day. So this is what a test day looks like. So here we have a very nice rebound candle. We go very low. We go relatively low volume relatively quickly, even though the aggregation tool looks like garbage. That's because obviously this big volume stepping in. Then you see buying pressure right here start to come into play, actually on that candle. And then it kind of never lets up. Selling still around a little bit, not too bad. And here's a quick rollover on lower volume. Right now we're almost in this situation. It's almost like this time around we had this a couple days ago and we popped up and now we're doing this. So not quite sure if it's exactly the same. Hey, what's up, Mark? So we look right now on the 2-hour time frame. There's our capitulation candle. Obviously 2013 had a lot more selling pressure in it. And this candle just closed. So not too bad. Wrong year, Randy? What do you mean? Oh, Bitfinex. Yeah, Bitfinex may have, that's a good point, Mike. Bitfinex. Let's go to Binance and do that. That's a good point. Very good point. People are waiting to throw money back in. So, most of you guys here know me for a while. You guys have been through stuff. Who pays the refunds? Yes, so I'm going to be launching an ICO. We're going to be launching a new exchange that will give refunds. We figured this out the other day. And I'll be honest with you, even giving refunds, people would still lose money. They'll ask for refunds at the wrong time. Is what they'll do. That'll be kind of funny. So yeah, here we go. So Binance, yep, better volume right there. I'm not sure if it's still a test day though. I guess we can look at that. So we popped up, formed a little triangle, popped up, came down, chopped around. Here we had a retest. So there's a small undercut. Looks like there's the big pop up here, the immediate retest. That's loosely where we found support. That would have been an interesting area to try to pick up some coins, and here as well. All right, so it looks like all right, on the 15-minute had a nice almost a doji candle put in on that prior 15-minute candle. Hi from Singapore. Hello, Martine. Hi from the US. So that's not a bad candle right there. Let's go back to the daily time frame here, get my chart set up correctly. So definitely not going to be a test day. And I don't think Binance in March even had a test day. I think it was different on Binance. Yeah, that's definitely not a test day. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad right there. So Dimitri says bull run is over. Too many unemployed. So not so many people can buy. Even most people now can't make ends meet. Not gamble on crypto. Well, your bet here isn't retail investors. Your bet here is institutional investors. Institutions are in the markets now. And that's really all the thing that you can, that's really the only thing you can ask for is that institutions are in the market and they will be supporting us. So retail investors aren't even as important as they used to be. They used to be everything to crypto. I do think it has shifted quite a bit. Hey, thanks Crypto King for the super chat. If 30K holds, I expect an equilibrium for a few months. Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. I do. If this is capitulation, so far it does appear to be, and we hold these lows here and we're able to stagnate up here, I think there's no major issues. But the whole point is we have to hold up. And as I said in my public video the other day and subsequently in the Power Hour, we're going to have to, this is patience time. This isn't time where you necessarily jump in immediately. These are areas where, if you have a bullish bias like I do, you try to get a lower fill if you can. Other than that, all you can do is wait for more setup because right now the chart's broken. And then we can set up. We can set up again for a reversal upward, and that would be fine. Now, the altcoin market's a different story. We'll talk about alts. We'll start walking down the top 20. Let's look at the 2013 similarities, though. Let's do that real quick. So before the bull run even started in the show, we talked about okay, what kind? I guess it was after the run started. We said, okay, what kind of bull run is it going to be? Is it going to be a 2013 bull run or a 2017 bull run? Okay, because there's two different. There's all different kinds of bull runs, and then part of the way into the bull market cycle, we said, are we going to be like the early 2013 or the late 2013? One or the other. Now, I've seen a couple things in the Slack chat room talking about we're like early 2013. We dropped 50%. I'm not sure which 2013 ran. This dropped, I believe, more than, yeah, this was a full 80% decline. That was a full-blown bear market. This was also a full-blown bear market. That one only went down 68% before rallying significantly to a lower high. So I wonder what specific 50% 2013 they're looking at. I'm not sure. There's another one right here, but all these had really, really big drops. Yeah, we had two bubbles in 2013, Christina, but they're both parabolic moves. I guess this one stayed parabola for a very long time. But you get a 50%, so I guess that's a 50% decline. So maybe you're looking for the bounce and a lower high to finally cement it. I mean, that's a potential. Now keep in mind, in 2013 we were much less liquid than we are right now. Much, much less liquid. So that's kind of your high right here. We undercut. This would be similar to what we just had. And then you get a throwback, and then maybe it starts to roll over again. Two bubbles, both corrected 80%. That's true. Both corrected, yeah, over long periods of time. But then the mid-bear market was only 90 days. You mean this area right here? What do you mean mid-bear market? That wasn't 90 days. Yeah, if you want to post a chat of that in Slack, I can pull it up. I'm not quite picking up what you're putting down here. So here we had a 44% drop, and then we chopped up. So here we get wide and loose. We're looking for more tight action. Mike's looking at April 9th, 2013, then all-time high in November 2013. Okay. That was 202 days. Yeah, the double bull market in the same year. Is it possible? I guess it's possible. But I vote for less, which sounds strange after a 53% drop, but I guess my vote right now still is with the less crazy. The less crazy. Like I said earlier, we have two competing things. We have a capitulation, which can roll over. I described that in the public video the other day. And then we have a 53% drop. So both are competing factors, and it's just a little bit too early, I think, to call which one is which. Like, even if you think we're in this drop, we're sitting like right here. We don't really have any major we don't have any major upside bounce. We don't have any major further drop. There's a drop there, about 34%. I actually bought that. I bought that bull flag before I knew anything about Bitcoin. Looks like I should have held those. Yeah, JJ says, I don't think the cycle is going to be like anything previous cycles due to institutional money. We never had Wyckoff top like this before. Yeah. Well, that's been my. I have a couple of theories. That's been one of the running theories, and we have that on one of these charts. In case it's not like other types of markets. It's on one of these, isn't it? Yeah. So our box here got, well, this is a different box, but that got destroyed. So let's talk about that for a little bit. So yeah, so this particular cycle is different. I do think this is different. I agree with JJ. So most of the time, you never get a 50% decline in a bull run. Okay, you never, the 50% decline is typically a correction. Typically a correction. So here you have the 2017 top, and then we go down, and then we go back into a bull rally. The largest bull rally, largest bull rally Bitcoin's ever had before a minor bear market. And Bitcoin typically doesn't do minor bear markets. But at this particular time, there's your bull rally, there's your minor bear market. This was a 50% drop over a longer period of time than we just had, obviously. And then, this is a March capitulation with COVID, with everything just selling off in the world. So you can't really count that, even though it counts. I mean, but you can't really I don't take that into account with this drop. I think our inverted head and shoulders we had here, I mean, that was your reversal signal. We were moving up, and we were likely to put in a higher low of some kind here and then reverse higher. In other words, if you were to remove all of this ugly Barding action here, and boom, that may have been what we would have gotten. There's a possibility of that. But that got in the way. But the main thing is that we had a 200, almost 300% rally, and then a 50% bear market. That is very unique. That is very unique. Anything that's happened prior to 2017, you've never seen a 50% decline after going into a bull market. You've never seen that. Now, we have had some 100% rallies. And, with Bitcoin as crazy as it is, the question is, can you call a 100% rally a bull market? Typically, yes. Obviously, you would say, yeah, it's up 100%. Of course it's a bull market. But those are usually off of lows. Like this rally right here, 150%. That's a good move, but that's not a bull market because you were breaking out of a consolidation here. So in reality, this was it's a 56% pop, and that got you into a bull market. But this in itself was not a bull market. Okay, that was not a bull market. The bull market kind of started on that break right there, but that's not an actual bull market. And same over here. No bull market. This is not a bull market. This is coming off of lows right here. And you can go all the way back, and it's the same rinse and repeat triangle pattern. All in all, the whole time, it's a rinse and repeat triangle pattern until this cycle, which is different. And it is trading a lot more like a high quality stock than it is a garbage cryptocurrency. And arguably, Bitcoin probably was a garbage cryptocurrency probably until sometime in 2017. It really got a lot of adoption in 2017. Institutions loosely started to step in. I think they came in a lot bigger after the drop here caused this low, and then they've been in ever since. I think a lot heavier than it seems. And this right here is evidence to me of that, the COVID drop. I think that's evidence of institutional. I could be wrong, but I think that's evidence. But anyway, this 50% decline changes things a little bit. And the fact that we never really had a major parabolic move, even though the percentage gain was amazing, there was no parabola. It was a singular trend line, essentially the whole way up that broke. So now we're looking at, I'm not necessarily treating this like an 83% decline. I actually thought we would go down 50%, but I didn't think it would happen in a day or happen 2 days after we discussed it. With this line right here kind of being our support line, we got there a lot quicker than I thought we would get. So now we're just waiting to see, and that's all you can do here. I mean, you can try to front run and stuff like that. You can look at it, but in reality, the market's going to tell you what's going to happen, and it's going to give you its next signal whether it holds this low or not, and how we handle this in this choppy area for a while. And something else that we have to retest, or don't have to, but are likely to retest, is probably this 48,000 area. We're probably likely, if we bounce up into 48K and fail quickly, so in other words, if we rally through here, that's not good. That would not be a good sign. You don't want to rally too soon because they'll take that opportunity to sell. The hurt is too new. The hurt is too new after a move like this for it to bounce up and go on. Unless there's just massive accumulation. That's a different situation though. The better thing would be to chop around here for a bit and then start to edge up and start to make people feel warm and fuzzy, and then we can move up. This would be a much more, and that's essentially what you see, not after every capitulation, but you see that fairly often, that same type of a signature right here, a slow undulating upward movement where people are, so this gets up a little bit and then pops down, but not very far, and then it gets really, really quiet in there. And most capitulations are like that. Well, I can't say that, but so I mean, here's a capitulation. Here's a similar type of a move. Massive volume on that one. This one, slow walk up. It never really like rallies. See, this one I would look for a retest of this level. And notice how it doesn't rally immediately into it. That would likely be a failure, but it walks up to it, showing just lack of selling pressure. How do you know when capitulation is over? When the price starts shooting upward. That's pretty much what it is. So I have missed some comments. Let's take a look at some comments. 106, looks like 106 viewers. I see 49 likes. Guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. I would appreciate that. That would be really good. Let's take a look at some comments. If I read your comment, you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. This dump is to regulate Bitcoin ownership, centralize it, scare us out. I disagree with that. EMA and the green line. This one, this is actually from JJ. I haven't removed it from my chart yet. This is what he does. I think it's interesting, and I don't have a separate indicator for it. But so this is the 377. JJ, let me know if you're not comfortable with me giving that. I'm not going to do that. That's your thing. And just based on what I said, you'll never guess what the other stuff is, so it doesn't matter. Explain Wyckoff. Crypto Keen says explain Wyckoff. So let's talk about Wyckoff for a little bit. So Wyckoff is the grandfather of basically all technical analysis. You can just Google him. It's Wychoff. You can Google Wyckoff. Almost everyone bases their systems off of Wyckoff in some way, shape, or form. They don't necessarily copy Wyckoff, but like everything else, they take parts that they like and then they regurgitate it into something that they find palatable. Okay, and so that's essentially, he talks about accumulation distribution. He talks about some chart patterns, price action. If you want to be good at this game, you can just study Wyckoff and then work your way up from there in terms of the bigs in the markets. And Wyckoff is like the grandfather of them all. In my estimate, there may have been one or two guys along with Wyckoff, but he's really one of the guys. And so they have something called a Wyckoff distribution and a Wyckoff accumulation. And we essentially just saw Wyckoff distribution, and we discussed this as we were kind of sitting up here. And then we started to drop, and we were trying to get above the 50%, couldn't, and that led to the bigger drop. So here's a Wyckoff distribution. Then the inverse of that would be Wyckoff accumulation. And there's all kinds of these interesting things. So you can Google Wyckoff. Really cool dude, because he's not around anymore. So anyway, that was a bad joke. Let's see what I got here. Doge still strong. Am I waiting for a weekly trend to change behavior before buying into Bitcoin again? What's the trend change you need to buy back in? Right now, I'm slowly nibbling. I've already I'm generally cash right now, but I've been slowly nibbling this on the way down. I do think we've capitulated. That's my bias right now. My personal bias. Don't trade off of that, by the way. That's my personal bias. So I'm looking to buy dips in this area down towards the capitulation bottom. And if I see something I don't like, I will go all cash. But right now, I'm cool doing what I'm doing. Let's see here. Rosie, bottom of the ninth. We'll see, man. If we drop past that low, I do think it'll be bottom of the ninth, and then we just had Bitcoin becomes more like other assets and less like Bitcoin, which is just a copy machine. So far, Bitcoin's been a copy machine. It copies its cycles all the time, which I think what people like it a lot. Plus, it runs a tremendous amount. But if it changes, it's going to get a lot more complicated. When you see such a huge jump, that's when you know the bull rally is over. Same old Bitcoin. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it's a local bottom. It happened in 2017 often Dream Car. We had several local bottoms, although they never went down over 50%. So that's the danger here. Mexican Charlie Lee, he was here a while ago. I haven't seen him lately though. Past couple streams and videos, I haven't seen him comment or nothing. Would that be a giant head and shoulders, Jeffrey? Yeah, actually, there could be a compound. This could be a compound head and shoulders pattern. We actually hit the target. Looks like I've cleared my charts. But yeah, so this could be a compound head and shoulders pattern. And if you actually take the neckline like that, which I did, and you extrapolate that downward, you almost hit that on the head for the head and shoulders drop. So, head and shoulders drop, you drop lower, you capitulate. Is that done? Is that done? It could be done. Yeah, could be. That's not what you're referring to? Well, you said a giant head and shoulders. That's pretty giant. Are you talking about a different time frame, Jeffrey? Buy high, sell low. Absolutely, Ellie. Absolutely. Elon has not yet sold out the BTC to flip Tesla into Doge. I think Elon's done playing with crypto, at least in Tesla's pocketbook for the minute. According to my point of view, I think we bottomed. That will change if we put in bearish action. Is the bull run over? I think we've capitulated. I think stagnation here would be good. We shall see. I could be wrong. Left shoulder at 42. Oh. This? It's possible if we go low volume from here on out. I wasn't looking at that for head and shoulders pattern. That would be a massive head and shoulders pattern and likely murder Bitcoin to the point where it wouldn't be viable as a currency. Like, you're going from 28K to 65K. So that is a drop of like 30,000, and then you'd have to have a neckline at 30,000, which would drop it down to zero. I'm not necessarily going to entertain that, to be quite honest with you. You do get some real massive head and shoulders. Actually, in Litecoin, if I'm remembering correctly, let's take a look here. I think in Litecoin at one point in time, yeah, here it is. I do remember this one, which gave us like a negative 40. This looks a lot more like a normalized head and shoulders pattern just because the top isn't so wide and broad. Yeah, this took you down to zero, negative 26. So, I mean, these patterns, and this one actually generally worked out really well. It didn't get all the way to the target, but it definitely solidified. It definitely solidified this as a top, and your volume signature was even correct here. We had this in the moment. That's why I remember it. I mean, obviously, it didn't tank, and this took a while for this to break down. This took 200 days for it to find an ultimate low, capitulated right there, and then off to the races you go after another 220 days of garbage. What about log? Well, usually I'm on log. I'm not sure why I'm not on log right now. Usually I'm on log. Yeah, log still gets you to the same point. Log doesn't change the math. It only changes the look. The math stays the same. So, but this was one of the last. This was like that, where you had a massive head and shoulders that gave you a really bad dead signal. If we do that, I guess it's fully possible that we can go back and play with lower levels. Like I said, the retest up here. We just need to see how this is going to react and how it's going to behave. So I guess if you're looking at it like this, then here's your And see, this is your dead cat bounce. Remember I talked about you don't want to bounce up too soon. So here we had an extreme drop and then bounced up immediately. And then double topped and then died. So that's, you even though it seems like you want to bounce up immediately, you almost don't. You almost don't. It's a little weird. And, nothing in trading works 100% of the time. But I mean, could we throw a head and shoulders like that on Bitcoin? I guess it's possible. I wasn't really looking at that for a massive head and shoulders, but we did just stop. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out over the next. Like I said, we all come back to the same thing. It all comes back to we have to wait and see how this thing plays itself out over the next coming days and week or two. So, if this is Wyckoff, it's not finished yet, and we go lower and lower. I can't disagree with that so much, to be honest with you, Oda. At the same time, I'm not a massive student of Wyckoff, and we did look at this the other day. We try to find something, because like Wyckoff doesn't necessarily give you percentage gains and drops and stuff like that. So I don't know if because we've already dropped a decent amount. I don't know if this could end it going down 36%. That could be the end of it. I mean, like I say at the opening of my videos, we take the market one leg at a time while keeping the market cycle in mind. There's really nothing else you can do, I don't think. But if you do view this as a very valid Wyckoff top, then yeah, I mean, maybe it is. But I don't have a lot of information in terms of Wyckoff tops. I don't have a lot of statistics to say, yeah, it's just done. I'm really not sure. They're turning Wyckoff into memes and no zero. Well, hey, Christina, we got the best meme. Let's get our meme team on that and start pushing our memes. I like our memes better. They want to scare us out. I don't necessarily agree with that, to be quite frank with you. So I don't think that's necessarily the thing. In order to move a market, you have to spend. You can't spend freely. It's not a free thing. You can't get a refund like Christina wants. You're not getting your damn refund. So anyway, okay. So I've really bitten Bitcoin to death, I think, right now. So let's move on. I don't have a lot to talk about left in the show. So we're gonna go through our top 20 as we usually do in the Power Hour. And obviously, I try to answer I do answer all questions that come in through the show. So I do have a few altcoins, but let's walk down the top 20. I can't imagine we're going to see anything that's dramatically different than what we already see in BTC. Yesterday was a very similar situation. When you have these big capitulation moves, it takes a while for things to sort themselves out. And this is still a baby move. This is still brand new. And if this is the only downside we get, I'll be very happy with that. So far, I can say I'm happy with the action. If anyone's interested, I'm happy with the action so far. Hasn't really swayed me from my bullish perspective at this moment in time. And so, yeah, let's move on. ZRX looks interesting, says B-Dub. Yeah, it's okay. Don mentioned the privacy coins were looking good, so I took a look at some privacies, and I did put XMR in the newsletter today. So our Bitcoin's half-ass stable, so let's walk down the top 20, and we'll see what's what, although I don't necessarily think we're going to get a whole bunch of good altcoins to look at. So with all the altcoins, they're very, very dependent on Bitcoin right now. Extraordinarily dependent on Bitcoin right now. I'm personally not going to be trading any altcoins. It's too much. There's too much whipsawing going on, in my opinion. If you want to trade them, that's fine. That's up to you. I'm not going to be going. Okay, so Ethereum here. Interesting. That's Coinbase. Okay, there's Binance. Very interesting. So Binance had high volume here, and then Coinbase had high volume here. That is interesting. I didn't know that. I don't look at both of these every day. And they both have good volume on this particular drop. So that is interesting. I didn't notice that. No alert on Ethereum right now. We do have alerts in the Power Hour. They're served through our Slack chat room. So if you guys are interested in the Power Hour, you have to get in the Slack chat room to get the alerts, but they serve in there. I don't have an alert on Ethereum right now. I'm not going to have an alert on almost anything until we do find some definitive directional behavior. So Ethereum chopping lower, rolling over a little bit, lower volume, high volume on both exchanges. Very interesting. BNB H is a few H patterns right now. This is a little bit dangerous, but there are some H patterns right now. Ethereum with an H pattern, Bitcoin not an H pattern, Ethereum with an H, BNB with an H. So keep an eye on these. Again, if you're interested in some of these alts, like I said, I mentioned I'm not trading any alts, but if you guys really have to, if you guys really want to, my recommendation would be to try to find lows in this area on alts that you really, really like. But keep in mind that no alt is guaranteed to come back. None of these are guaranteed to come back. The one you like the most will probably be the one that does the worst. Just the way it goes sometimes. So be very, very purposeful with your purchases. All right, next up is Doge. Very similar chart to everything else. Hing over here a little bit. It's already bounced back pretty good. Volume aggregation tool, very bullish. Sellers really haven't been interested that much. Even with that red candle right there, selling pressure, not that great. Cardano rolling over. We mentioned yesterday, this one was bouncing up really nicely. Look at the volume aggregation tool, very bullish. Looks like buying pressure diminishing at the moment right now. Moving sideways on the selling side, so not too bad right there. Jay just says ETH is not an alt. ETH is an alt. I understand your point, and I agree with you, but ETH is still an altcoin. ETH tanked with Bitcoin. Everything is still pegged to Bitcoin until proven otherwise. That's my stance on the situation. All right, next up is XRP. XRP Hing over here. Very, very clear H, looking like a bear flag on the daily. We shall see how that goes. Again, no alerts on anything right now. It's too new, too fresh. If you get some big bounces, they should be on big volume. As you saw yesterday, I'm pretty sure a lot of people tried to buy yesterday. You're right back now to break even, if not down. So this is a very dangerous time to be taking a bunch of positions. What does an H pattern insinuate? It's actually a good question. Haven't talked about that in a while. So what is an H pattern? An H pattern is essentially a bear flag that can imply a measured move, and it looks like a lowercase h. And I thought I clicked on the other thing, but I guess I didn't. It's a lowercase h. Boom. Simple lowercase h, and it generally implies a measured move. So this would imply a measured move down here to about the 54 level. So forget the rest of the H. Sometimes you can do double H patterns. Those are pretty rare though. But an H pattern can do one of two things. It'll either double bottom you and bounce, similar to like a head and shoulders, or it will do a measured move and follow through lower. Is what it'll do. So that's an H pattern. H patterns are bearish by nature. It essentially implies you were able to bounce, but couldn't get very far. And that's why I said I don't want to bounce too soon on BTC. H pattern is bearish. Absolutely. And all these alts have H patterns on them right now. You'd prefer the bounce, but it's not necessarily that healthy. Kind of like eating cake all day long. Next up is DOT. DOT, H pattern. Undercut lots of resistance. We were trying to play with this yesterday. So far, we're still chopping up the base, which is not very good. Which is not very good at all. I don't like all these H patterns around. We talked the other day about the markets cracking, and the markets had two small cracks in them, and then the other day the whole market fell apart and cracked apart. We're looking for things to settle out and consolidate to turn back upwards. Like I said, most of these alts won't. Well, I don't know about most of them. Some of them won't. Maybe most of them won't. Yeah, everything is an H, Dimitri. Everything is an H today. Except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not an H. Bitcoin is not an H. All right, next up is ICP. Yesterday, ICP had quite a bit of buying pressure to it. We covered ICP when it ICO'd, and you never buy a coin when it ICOs. Why? Because of this garbage. When a coin ICOs onto a large exchange, or in general, or even IPOs, even if you're interested in stocks, and find an IPO like Coinbase that you'll like, never buy it right out of the gate. That is a fool's errand. I don't know anybody, well, I'm sure there's some people out there, but I don't know anybody that invest on IPOs the second they come out to the market. There's no price history. You don't know what the market thinks of the asset. It's very important that you wait and see what the market thinks of the asset. ICP, it popped up to 580, then dropped down to 100. What does it think about that asset? So far, it doesn't think very highly of it. Then you get a really nice volume pop, so they like it down towards 100, so that's good. Now you're waiting to see if it follows through. 207.01 alert level. I did put this one on yesterday because this is definitely different than the rest of the market. So ICP, very interesting right there. If you like it lower, we're still above the trend line. That is very good. And if it's gonna remain above there, then you could try to nibble on some ICP. Not something I'm willing to do. Like I said, alts are off the table for me right now, unless I see a super strong setup. I was thinking about ICP yesterday off of a bull flag, but it turned into a downward channel, and so I'm just going to let it be that. All right, next up is Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash also an H pattern. It's just going to follow Bitcoin. It's a following piece of garbage basically. Uniswap. H pattern, lower, just like everything else. Next up is Litecoin. H pattern. Everything's going to follow the same thing here, but this is our routine, so we're going to cover it. Nice bottoming action on there, but it's going to follow BTC. Link, H pattern. Everything looking very similar right now. No change there. XLM, H pattern, but a little bit different. Able to, I don't want to say bounce up as high. I was able to get down lower. I'm not a huge fan of Stellar generally, and it undercut so much here. I'm just not really willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. Usually, I never give it the benefit of the doubt. Next up is Ethereum Classic. This one is loosely an H pattern. It's not so classical. You don't want to have a wide gap between the drop and the bounce. You know, you want it to be somewhat, like here, it kind of pops up immediately and then rolls over. And then you have Ethereum Classic with kind of like a wide berth in here. It looks a little bit odd. This was able to get up a little bit better, as a matter of fact. Volume aggregation tool, not too bad. I'm not really willing to jump into this coin right now. Looks like, you know, I think one of these is not log. Yeah, that one's not log. That's why. Okay, so trend line right there, resistance, very classical stuff. Nothing's going to change until that resistance is broken. Next up is VeChain. VeChain also able to get down dramatically, undercutting all the way back down to the 5, bouncing back up here to the 11. So pretty interesting. Perp and HNT, JJ. Yeah, I'll write those down. I saw those. We'll cover those in a little bit. Next up is Sol. Don, are you here? I want my Sol. Give it to me. Give it to me. I was having such fun with that yesterday. That was so fun. Sol, choppy. Bullish generally, obviously, but very choppy. And this market, give it to me, Don. Give me your Sol. While this is still a very good crypto, you see what the markets can do to a very good crypto. Quite a bit of chop. Yeah, so it is what it is. I mean, it's a good coin. Don was singing at high praises in Slack yesterday. Says he used it. It likes it a lot. Very little fees. Very, very fast. Unlike some of the other exchanges out there currently. So, you know, I'm not saying this is a garbage coin. Probably one of the better ones out there at the moment. Maybe next cycle it'll do a little better, and hopefully next cycle happens very soon. But yeah, SOL. I generally I'm not too mad at SOL. One of the few that I'm not like willing to not deal with. I'm willing to deal with this one under certain circumstances, like when Don gives me Sol. So next up is EOS. EOS, underneath the parabola. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to nothing else today, listen to this. If the market looks like it's going to dump, just short some EOS. That's all you got to do. You just have to short EOS. If all you did was wait for the time to short EOS, you would do very good. If that's all you did. EOS dumping 70%. EOS dumping 70%. All right, next up is Theta. Theta with an exit signal up here and was choppy garbage ever since our exit signal. Failed at a high, blah, 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 lower. Next up is Tron. Tron undercutting a lot of action. Very similar H pattern. Again, everything looks the same. Next up is Matic. Matic. I said, what did I say yesterday? I gave it the award for strangest coin of the year or something like that. Yeah, this remains the coin for strangest coin of the year. Rallied through, dropped all the way back down, came pretty much all the way back, and now it's rolling over with the rest of the market right here. So a lot of alts look suspect. Some are broken, some are still okay, but it's going to take a lot of time for these things to wear themselves out. I'm not really willing to hold positions in this particular environment. All right, so wrapping up, I'm going to say what I just said. I'm not willing to hold many positions in this kind of an environment when you have these big capitulation type moves. Even if it's, let's say it's not capitulation, okay? Let's just say it's not capitulation and we roll over further. Another reason not to be involved in altcoins, okay? Even if this is capitulation and we chop around here for a long time, it's going to be very difficult to know which altcoins are going to be stable and which altcoins are going to rally to make money. You don't have to be involved in the market every single day. Trading is not about trading every day unless you're a day trader, in which case you're doing a different thing. If you're a swing trader, it's about identifying the trend of the market and trying to stay with it as long as you can until the market changes its cycle. So right now it's patience time. It's absolute patience time. So wrapping up the top 20, a lot of the alts are Hing over, and BTC, we're waiting to see if this is going to be a low for Bitcoin in the next coming days, maybe a week or two. And that's really the story here, is a lot of patience is needed. And if you're not willing to have patience, you're very likely going to chop up your account unless you're a skilled day trader and you're willing, can trade some pops and short some drops. Then you can do pretty good in this volatility. If you don't do that normally and you want to try to do that, please trade with very, very small size, because if it's not something you've done a lot, you don't want to trade with big size. You may think to yourself, oh, there's a 10% drop coming in. I can make, if I go 10x leverage, I could double my whatever. There's a lot of those thoughts will creep into your head, but you really want to think risk first. Like, what am I risking? What am I risking? And just make sure that risk is very, very manageable. So if you're not used to day trading, if you're not used to, shorting pops like this and trying to long bottoms like this, do it on paper or do it very, very small. All right, next up is Binance US Coins. The only one I did find was XMR. And XMR was different. Like I mentioned, I'm not really looking to buy anything right now, but XMR has definitely been in a different type of a situation. The volume has been very dramatic. Look at today's volume, even bigger than a couple days ago. So could that be a potential danger sign that Bitcoin isn't done? It's possible. It's possible that could be a danger sign. But I mean, we had the drop, we came right back, we had a very much higher low. We're able to walk it up. Volume aggregation tool pretty clean on the 2-hour since capitulation. So I'm not advocating a position in XMR, nor do I have an alert on it. But I do think that XMR it's probably being used just to move some crypto around without being traced. I think that's why privacy coins are kind of running a little bit today. Somebody mentioned ZRX. I don't have it on the screen today, but let's go ahead. Let's take a look at ZRX. Somebody did mention it. So ZRX did have a nice little bounce right there, dropped and bounced back really nicely. That's a little bit different than what we saw with most coins today. And capitulation right there. Aggregation tool mix, not a huge fan. All right, next up is BTC Pairs. And let's do, I had a couple. We're going to look at Perp and HNT. Let's look at those first. Perp. JJ mentioning Perp didn't have the same. Yeah, that is completely different, isn't it? Perp is completely different. Wow, that's very unique. That's very, very unique for Perp. So is it something you want to buy? I mean, it's up to you. It's a little bit of a low right now. If we weren't in a bit of a crazy market at this moment in time, I would argue you're probably near a lower risk entry point. It's about 8 to 9% down to the trend line. Yeah, very interesting. No major edge on this one, however. But yeah, it's definitely different. I 100% agree with that. And then HNT. I'm not really that familiar with this one. Cup and handle. Not versus BTC. Well, you didn't say it, JJ. Jeez, I gotta type something in. HNT with a cup and handle right now, and it's definitely got fudded away on that, but came back really nicely on HNT. What is HNT? Helium, huh? Number 71. Nice rally on it right there. Yeah, it looks really good against the dollar. Decentralized blockchain-powered network of IoT devices. So is it trying to compete with IOTA? Oh, that's cool. Although IoT really hasn't caught well on crypto. Start a wireless revolution powered by Helium blockchain. People's Network represents a paradigm shift for decentralized wireless infrastructure. Decentralized wireless. What does that mean? That's very interesting indeed. Use. The People's Network delivers secure, ubiquitous, and affordable wireless connectivity. So do you basically like make your Wi-Fi public and they'll pay you for that or something? Oh, it's just for IoT though. Oh, it's not for cellular or something. Okay. All right. Maybe they are trying to compete. Interesting concept. Interesting concept. Yeah, definitely worth looking into. So let's take a look at it versus the dollar. Yeah, H&T versus the dollar here. Also looks similar to a cup and handle. No H pattern versus USD. Yeah, definitely different, but the question is it investable? Is it buyable? That's the question. It's good to seek differentiation, but at the end of the day, you have to, believe there's a thesis for it increasing. Unless you just like to buy a lot of coins and have 1,000 coins in your wallet or whatever. All right, next up is let's do perp USDT. All right. Yeah, perp, no H pattern, but definitely sold off here a little bit. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy here for perp. Perp's been choppy. It did have an inverted head and shoulders on it. 923 was the break point, and it's been very choppy, undercutting all kinds of stuff. So I don't like being involved in these types of coins until it settles down. Then I would be potentially interested. All right, next up is Ethereum versus BTC. All right, so Ethereum versus BTC, also with an H pattern. Very similar H pattern. So we'll see what happens. High volume right there. Didn't really go very far. Hopefully we can just stagnate out, going sideways and negate the H pattern. H patterns usually will resolve themselves fairly quickly. You typically don't get an H, and then that would be a bear flag. That's a different situation. But an H could turn into a bear flag. You'll sometimes get a little bounce like that of weakness off of the double bottom. But H patterns usually will resolve themselves, like I said, fairly quickly. So this is going to need a little bit of time. We did break that trend line. We do have this one still giving us support. So plenty of time and room to let this thing wander a little bit. Next up is SNX. So we've been looking at SNX for a while now. This is synthetic assets, which are just starting to get started in cryptocurrency. Also not an H pattern. JJ, not an H pattern. Last alert we had was at 50, right there at 58.34. We just touched it the other day before rolling over, hitting capitulation. And then now we're loosely trying to bounce back. Very interesting action here. So if this can shore up, I think if if we're going to get a second half to this market cycle, maybe synthetics, so DeFi was a big thing. DeFi kind of took a hit a little bit, and then maybe synthetics will try to bounce back up. We'll see. But SNX and UMA did not make the newsletter today, but SNX is number 1 in the space from what I understand. UMA is number 2, and UMA so far holding lows down here versus BTC. So nothing too bad here either. All right, next up is XMR. And XMR, a very similar situation to the dollar. Nothing really egregious here in terms of, we did just have an alert go off. I did see the alert go off. I didn't mention it because I knew it was an older alert. So I probably should adjust that alert. Let's adjust that alert. Let's go up here to the double top at 9084 for XMR. And that's not even the thing I wanted. Where are you, XMR? There you are. 9084. All right, so 908, that's the new alert. Just in case it does try to do something, but now with a huge downward movement, then able to bounce back is definitely interesting. One thing I did want to look at today, let's look at BTC pairs by percentage. Let's take a look at these by percent. All right, so first up is SNX. Okay, not bad. I think SNX is in a very interesting position. It is, still holding. We still have the 5834. I'm just going to keep that as the alert because we just stalled up there. I may raise it a little bit later, but I'll just leave it there for today. If we get healthy and things get benign and good again, I think SNX could be a contender. Poly is next. They are just in the middle of a bunch of chop. It looks like not much green today versus BTC. STMX. Yeah, Elf's right there, huh? Choppy, nothing really good there. IOTX, very similar. Elf, Elf popped up. I saw this when I was doing I do the newsletter alphabetically. I don't do it by percentage, so I don't have any kind of bias. I try to keep my bias out of when I look at charts. But yeah, this was already on its way down. Huge pop, double top. Don't need to be involved in that. XMR coming back needs to stabilize out. That is a huge wide range. It's hard to trade that unless you're getting those extremes and watching that chart. And garbage. 335 on Anchor. Actually, not the worst looking chart in the market. Probably one of the better ones, arguably. You're going to have a big shakeout, but it actually held the lows. Not a massive fan of Anchor, but I do like this pattern generally. I do have the 335. I probably should raise that to the double top. There you go, Vlad. Yeah, just go, yeah. Take one BTC and just go buy a bunch of VIA. Oh, it just popped up. Let's take a look at VIA. Unfortunately, this list doesn't, it's not a fluid list. It only sorts once. It won't, like, if this goes negative, it won't drop off the list. It'll stay here. It'll just be showing red. It's good in one sense, but it's bad in another, as you can't stay with the top coins. Like if one of these flips green, I'm not going to, see, like that one was 0 for a second. I'm not going to really realize that. Yeah, Anchor, I kind of like it down here, but I'm going to raise it up. 388 for Anchor. Haven't talked about Anchor in a while. I guess a week ago. All right, so metal, garbage, power, garbage. Different, but still garbage. Storage is generally garbage. Now we're back to, now look at that one. Nebel had a big pop and drop. See, this is why it's really hard to trade alts right now. You're back to this kind of crap. Very, very tough. Anchor's a bear trap? Could be. All right, let's take a look at new Binance coins. Another list we have here in the show. New Binance tokens right here. Anything worthwhile? MBL. FIS up 70%. What the heck is that? Yeah, see, even look how choppy that is. All the way up, all the way down, all the way up. Now maybe trying to come all the way back down. All right, let's kind of walk down these ones. First up is Acme. Well, it's not called Acme, it's just ACM. There's no E, but interesting up here. Actually able to stay fairly stable in a high range. I have to give that a little bit of respect. Let's throw an alert there. 4224. I got to respect that a little bit. ACM 424. What? 4224. Okay. Let's take a look at that for a second. ACM, I don't know much about that. Oh, that's the Milan fan token. Gotcha. So yeah, that's the Milan fan token. If you guys don't know, you can actually buy fan tokens for some of your favorite football teams or soccer teams if you live in the U.S. Yeah, Milan fan token. They're sold on. It's Socios. Is that S? No, what? It's not Theta. What is this one? And they got ICO. What's the damn token? Oh, I'm drawing a blank on. Oh, Chilliz. There you go. CHZ. It's Chilliz. Yeah. So this on CHZ, which we don't really see a lot anymore because it did garbage after it went super parabolic. So nothing crazy right there. But yeah, so ACM, very interesting. I don't know. Maybe football season's opening up again. It's possible, but interesting. I'm not going to be doing anything with it, but interesting. All right, Alice. Really took it deep. Alpha took it deep. Auto down. CFX down. Not very good. FIO garbage. So not much going on. FIS, this is interesting, but difficult. I mean, who's looking at this to make a buy down here? So I'm not sure if this is a pump and dump right now or what's going on, but up 73%. You'll probably make more money trying to short that thing than you will going long it. But even that's dangerous because you never know. You have to trade these on smaller time frames likely. And aggregation tool firmly bearish on the 15-minute time frame and on the 2-hour time frame. And there's not much else going on here. There wasn't much yesterday. Probably won't be much today. But still have to go through the exercise. Otherwise, what's the point of going through the exercise if you only do it when you want to, right? That's the whole point. SFP, breaking the triangle, making new lows. Super does not look super. All right, that's it. All right, Monkeytron, let's take a look at Tesla. Why not? Take a look at Tesla, guys. Any more questions you guys have, feel free to ask them. I'll be doing wrap up in a little bit. Yeah, unless you guys do have any questions. Looks like the stock market is flat today. Tesla is flat. Unfortunately, not really bouncing too much. Not really bouncing too much out of this area. I'll bring up my stock chart. Yeah, so Tesla, there's the 200-day moving average. We're fighting with it right now. Unfortunately, we're not really bouncing up off of it. That is a little bit concerning. The 50 and the 200 actually, no, that's the 50. So there, yeah. So we could just go sideways here for a little bit on Tesla. I think all in all, I mean, long-term Tesla's fantastic. Short-term, it's obviously choppy. Maybe we head a little lower. If we do, I think that the bear market may take over. I hope we can hold the 400 level. We discussed that. I hope we can hold that if we do move lower. So that's going to be definitely interesting. But Tesla's still chopping. Yeah, you mentioned Roblox, JJ. I did pull it. Yeah, it was breaking out. I don't know if it's going to stay broken out. I'm just a little nervous about the market generally. Very similar to Bitcoin and alts. The indexes have to be, looking pretty good in order for me to get, and also the leaders have to be looking good. Right now, we're failing this middle Bollinger Band on the Nasdaq. That the Bollinger Bands on the Nasdaq have been a pretty good indicator for us. So I'm trying not to do too much. Let me just put it that way, if nothing at all. But yeah, so Roblox could come up here and fail as the market is just kind of taking its time with everything, basically. It's just taking its time. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. So to wrap things up, I do want to thank you very much for joining me for this extreme stream power hour. We don't do these very often, but the market was dropping. And I thought it was kind of important to let you guys ask some questions and stuff. We do the power hour every day, and it's mentorship if you want it to be. Whatever question you guys have, we can answer. If you guys want to do a series on technical analysis or anything that you guys have, I'm basically here in service of you guys. And whatever you guys want to do during the show, we can do. And that's it, basically. That's it. That's the power hour. That's all of it. So right now, Bitcoin, nothing's really changed since the start of the show. Luckily, we didn't drop a whole lot further. Like I said, right now for me, altcoins are very dangerous. It's too risky right now, in my opinion, to be trading altcoins. I'm sure some of you have some Ethereum that you love by now and want to hodl it, and that's a decision you can make, and that's fine. Just really realize what you're doing. But I wouldn't be short-term trading, like I said, unless you're day trading or learning to scalp or anything like that. So generally, you want to move when the market is sure and moving in your favor. That is really when you want to invest. Right now, out of a brand new drop and a potential capitulation candle, it's too early to be taking big bets. Very too early to be making big bets. If you're taking small bets just for fun, slot machine, like Sacramento says right there, slot machine. Is basically what you're doing right now. So you're basically betting, and we're going to get chopped around for a while here. So this whole range is going to be chopped around. I think alts are going to get chopped around. We may try to drop lower on alts while BTC may hopefully stays above the 30,000 level. That would be a pretty big drop from here. You're talking about an 18.5% drop from where we are right now for BTC to drop. Hopefully we can, if you do drop lower, I do have a couple lines here. Like I mentioned, we got the 34.7 potentially and the 32.2, and all those are give or take. There's obviously fluctuations in there. So if you're looking at buying bottoms, you have to buy after the bottom has occurred. Try not to front run the bottom. Very dangerous situations occur if that is the case. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Have a good day.